Hi Yippers, welcome back to Yipping Bricks. Today, we are taking a look at the LEGO Technic PEUGEOT 9X8 24 hours Le Mans Hybrid Hypercar, and there are two main things I'm really curious about. First, I want to see what kind of mechanisms the designers has packed into this set. Secondly, I am curious about how closely this model manages to replicate the real car in terms of details. I am expecting a detailed build that feels more like a display piece rather than a set focused on play. Let's first look at the box. I like the light green being chosen as the color scheme by the designers since it is the accent color of the actual car. The box art also does a solid job of representing the actual vehicle, and the model looks faithful to the real car. Overall, the design is fairly standard for an 18+ set, which is clean and premium without any flashy elements. Turning the box around, the designers included a good mix of reference materials. We get an image of the real car, the dimensions of the finished model, some specs of the real car, and an image of the completed model. We also have an image of the 24 hours Le Mans track above an image of the model's rear end. Again, very typical stuff for 18+ Technic sets, though I do appreciate the designers including images and specs of the real car since it helps tie the model back to the real car. Inside the box, we get a total of 1,775 pieces, split across 5 normal bags, 11 add-on bags, and 3 special bags, along with 2 pages of stickers, 4 wheels, and 1 instruction book. The bags are neatly organized, with parts clearly separated into structural elements and pins, which helps keep the build process orderly and less chaotic. The bags are still made of plastic, and there are no real surprises during unboxing. The instruction book is quite substantial, coming in at 380 pages. The book includes messages from the designer, messages from the technical director at Peugeot Sport, images of the model, images of the real car, and Peugeot's history at Le Mans. I do enjoy reading this extra content as they show the effort the designers put into designing this set. Bag 1 builds the rear section. This bag feels fairly large and is quite complex since it has a lot of interesting building techniques packed into it. The instructions are clear and easy to follow, and the build never feels repetitive, which makes the process very enjoyable. Everything feels solid thanks to multiple connection points per beam. I like how the designer used triple pins to lock the structure together, making the order of operation surprisingly important. This bag introduces a few working mechanisms such as a working differential that is connected to the V6 engine with movable pistons. It also features a very smooth suspension with only one shock absorber, which is a faithful replication of the real car. Bag 2 moves on to build the cockpit and the front of the car, where the front differential, front electric drive, steering, and front suspension all come together. Despite the sheer amount of mechanism packed into this stage, the build flows really well thanks to how the instruction breaks everything down into smaller subsections before bringing them together. One detail I really like is how the designers use accented pieces to form the seat. Those pops of color bring the whole build to life. I also appreciate the use of circular elements to represent the electric motor of the real car, creating a nice visual touch. It is also interesting how the designer used 2 gears to stabilize the rather long rack and pinion system for the steering. Despite that, the system still feels rather shaky. Bag 3 focuses on shaping the cockpit area along with the swing doors and air intake. This bag feels smaller and much simpler than the earlier bags. Most of the structure feels quite solid thanks to how the parts interlock with multiple support points, making the cockpit surprisingly rigid. The only weak point is that the swinging door is noticeably more fragile when it is open. That said, I really like how the hinge door is replicated using simple Technic pins, and it feels very smooth to operate. I also like how the cockpit looks after being built as the model starts to resemble the real car. One comment I have is regarding the air intake. While I am generally not a big fan of mixing studs and tube brakes into Technic builds, I can understand why the designer went this route, most likely as a cost-saving measure without sacrificing appearance. The engine cover and rear wing is being built in EP4. I like how detailed both the engine cover and the rear wing is. The designers did a good job replicating the details of the real car for the rear section. I also like how these orange pieces are used to maintain the angle of the end plates for the rear wing. They also made the engine cover easily removable by using plus pins instead of circular pins to secure the cover to the body. The only thing within the build that can be quite tedious is the repeated application of the rear light stickers. Bag 5 wraps up the build by completing the front section. This bag is fairly simple, since it's mostly just bodywork and it's not too big in size. I really like how the designers recreated the front light fins of the real car using clips to hold diagonal elements in place. The front cover can also be lifted, exposing the front differential and suspension. I think they did a really good job replicating the front section of the real car. With that, we are done with the build. Let's see what the model can do. First, we have working suspension for both the front and the back wheels. Second, we have working steering that is attached to the steering wheel. Third, the back differential is connected to a V6 engine that have moving pistons. Fourth, the front differential is connected to circular drums that represent the electric motors. Fifth, we have working hinge doors. Sixth, the front cover can be lifted. Seventh, the front light fin glows in the dark. Lastly, the engine cover is removable. In conclusion, this is what I grade this set as. The full grading criteria is in the description below. In general, I am very satisfied with this set. Even without any motorized functions, the overall experience feels complete as this model sets out to be a detailed, mechanically rich display piece. While some features such as the steering and drive could be motorized, I don't feel like their absence take away from the experience. Most of the mechanisms are easy to use, responsive and well thought out. The only minor issue being the steering, which feels slightly tight when the car is stationary. Visually, the model is excellent. There are no awkward gaps or strange angles, and the proportion matches the real car very well, and the details all feel accurate. The color scheme is spot on, using the same accent color as the real vehicle. While stickers are used, they feel reasonable and justified for cost and production reasons, with only the tail light feeling a little repetitive. Structurally, the model is solid thanks to multiple connection points throughout, even if the hinge door does feel a little flimsy. If you're a fan of hypercar, this set is a must-have. If you're a Technic fan, this set offers plenty of mechanism to satisfy your mechanical mind. And with that, we have come to the end of the review for the Peugeot Hypercar set. Drop a like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to see more of these reviews. Thanks for watching again. See you in the next one.